Hey guys, what's up? MadSeason here, back with another episode of Time Warp for you. This is number 10 in the series, and it's where I go over things that were removed from the game for one reason or another. Something I've been wanting to go over for a while now are a handful of unique weapons or items that have been removed from the game. These are items that didn't drop from a boss, but rather were rewards for interesting, involved, or epic quest chains. For this one, I wanted to go over a weapon so iconic that it even got its own trading card in the official TCG. And that's the High Blade, otherwise known as Quel'Serrar. I did cover this very briefly once before in another video, but not to the depth that I'd like, and hey, it's perfect for the Time Warp series, so I have to give it its proper due. The ability to obtain this blade was removed in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, where they re-released the Onyxia's Lair raid. Some copies were made, the burnished and gleaming Quel'Serrars, but the original and the quest to obtain it were lost forever. So, what is this blade and why is it so special? I guess the best way to describe it is to read the official excerpt from the game itself. In ages past, well before the War of the Ancients, there existed this blade. The blade itself had to be crafted in ceremony with the Children of the Aspects. A rare occurrence indeed, for not only would a dragon have to willingly heat and mold the enchanted metal with their breath, they would also need to contain the fury of their own enchantment by using their blood as temper. Over the course of 8,000 years, only a handful of these blades were created, each blade unique in both power and appearance. The blades of Quel'Serrar would take on the characteristics of their creator. Rumors exist of a single, legendary blade of Quel'Serrar crafted for an unknown entity by the combined might of the 5 aspects. So, how and where did you get it? Its secrets lay in the Dire Maw dungeon. This used to be the ancient highborn city of Elder Thalas. It was built to protect Queen Ashar's secrets, and with her fall and the Sundering, the great city now lays in ruin, overrun with ogres and apparitions of the past. The denizens of these ruins, namely the bosses, had a chance to drop a tome titled Forer's Compendium of Dragon Slaying. It wasn't soulbound, so you could also just buy it off of the auction house, if you had the gold that is. The book itself is actually an Easter egg, and refers to a developer's time with another MMO, EverQuest. It was restricted to 2 classes, the Warrior and Paladin, and upon use you would get a quest to find someone who can interpret the tome for you. You would find such a person located inside the Dire Maw instance itself, more specifically the library. An NPC named Lorekeeper Lydros thanks you for returning the tome, and suggests that a reward is in order, although it will require, quote, enormous effort to obtain. He would go on to explain the history behind the blade like I went over earlier, and hands you a seemingly ordinary blade, unfired, unheated, and untreated. This would later become Quel'Serrar. So, as I explained earlier, the blades were created by the dragon aspects. They used their fire to heat them, and their blood to temper them. Now that we have the blade, we just need the dragon. Luckily, we know of such a dragon, the daughter of the mad black dragonflight aspect to Neltharion, Onyxia. The only problem, she won't voluntarily help you create this blade. She sort of has a whole evil bad guy thing going on. So, at this point, you were given the Forging of Quel'Serrar quest, and were given an item called the Unfired Ancient Blade. The next step was to head to the Lair of Onyxia, located in the Dustwallow Marsh in Kalimdor. You of course needed help, as this was a raid encounter, so you and 39 friends would engage the dragon in battle. You would need to coordinate with your allies, and mid-fight you had to use this blade to thrust it into the ground and position Onyxia in such a way that when she breathes fire, she does so over the blade. So, that was the heat covered, now you just need some blood. You then had to pick up the sword from the ground to get the heated ancient blade, and from here you had to kill Onyxia within 20 minutes before the blade cools down. If you fail, you have to start the quest over again, and most likely wait another week before you could try again. So, if you used it, the pressure was on, you had to take her down. But, if you were successful, you would then have to sink the blade into her corpse to treat it, and then you would get the treated ancient blade as a reward. And that was it. The last step was to return to the Lorekeeper Lydros, and upon completion, you received Quel'Serrar, the High Blade. It was a tanking weapon, hence the warrior and paladin restriction on the tome, a fast speed which was desired by warrior tanks due to the better rage generation, some stamina, and a defensive dodge and armor proc. As far as weapon models went, it was quite impressive. The hilt was golden and blue, the blade with a silver finish with runes etched into it, and it also had a native green glow. It was quote the tanking sword for quite a while as I remember, and to this day it remains a favorite of many classic warriors who completed the quest back in the day. An epic reward from an epic quest. As I mentioned, it was re-released in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion with the reskilled Onyxia's Lair, and there was also a quest to get its sister blade, quel'danar. You got this from a quest chain started from the rare battered hilt drop, also in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, but that's another story. So, that's pretty much it for this episode. I do have some other weapons planned for the future, the hunter weapons, Rockdalar and Lockdalar, and so on. If you have any suggestions though, feel free to let me know and I'll look into it. As always, I hope you found the video interesting or entertaining. Like it if you liked it, and I'll see you in the next episode of Time Warp. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.